Hood County Chess Club, Zac Wilson here. Let me turn the camera around. I am in Budapest, Hungary right now on a work-related trip. I am a travel agent, and so I'm here at the first ever River Cruise Expo in Budapest, where I'm touring many ships. And I want to turn the camera around and show you here that that is the Buda side of the river. And then over here is the Pest side of the river. But more importantly, there's a chessboard. All right, who's with me? So seeing as how we are in Budapest, Hungary, I wanted to share with you an interesting opening called the Budapest Gambit. So let's get to the side where I can actually reach the pieces here. White is going to move pawn to d4. Black will respond traditionally with knight f6. This is sort of maybe a hyper-modern, if you will, hoping for maybe one of the Indian defenses. White continues with one of their most popular responses with c4 taking over the center of the board. They would have liked to have played e4, but the knight is covering that square. Now, from here, we know many opportunities. We know a lot of the Indian games will move pawn to g6, going for that fianchettoed bishop, often happening in the King's Indian or the Grunfeld defense. Other Indian defenses might include something like pawn to e6, which could lead to a Nimzo Indian, or maybe transposed to a Queen's Gambit declined, like the Rogozin defense, or possibly even a Queen's Indian. But we're not doing that today. Of course, some of my hyper-modern players will love saying, why not try the Benoni, attacking immediately with c5? But we're not going to do that either. Instead, since we are currently in Budapest, Hungary, we're going to try something called the Budapest Gambit. We're going to attack the center immediately with e5. And if we take a look at this from the white's point of view, the white player's point of view, you can see that that pawn is undefended. It's no surprise that the most popular move here is to simply capture this pawn. So we'll remove it from the board. Capturing D captures e5, which puts our knight in danger immediately, which kind of breaks one of the chess rules of moving a piece more than once in the opening. But it does move with tempo, knight to g4, attacking the e5 square immediately. What will white do? One of the most common responses is to protect it, and there's many ways to protect that pawn. I can think of bishop out to f4 on the dark squares. The natural move, knight to f3, is my personal favorite. Or you could just let it fall and give up the gambit and continue naturally with development with maybe pawn to e3, making way for our light squared bishop to get out. But we'll go ahead and play knight to f3. Black has several responses here. Black can choose to develop the bishop and get ready to castle with something like maybe bishop to c5. But more common is knight to c6. So with knight to c6, we now have a double attack on this pawn, trying to win it back. And what is the point of this gambit, whether it's temporary, where white gives back the pawn, or permanent if white keeps the pawn? It's a very simple one. Black is simply trying to damage white's center. That pawn center control has already been disrupted. He has doubled e-pawns and a semi-open d file. So that is the point of this gambit. Now, white can continue many different ways here. And I think one of the most popular is either knight to c3 or pawn to e3 to get the bishop out and just simply allow that pawn to be taken. But many players will try to hang on to the extra material playing bishop to f4. And here, one of the most common replies is simply to attack it. Now, it looks like some of you may have noticed this already. They set the pieces up wrong, so let's fix that real quick. Whoever set up this set was not aware that their royalty was misplaced. And so queen to e7, attacking the pawn a third time. From here, I looked at the computer earlier, and it says that the current score is plus 0.4. Plus 0.4 for white, and they're up an entire pawn at the moment. So it shows that the Budapest Gambit is not tomfoolery, but actually something you can try. From here, play will continue. Well, I hope you enjoyed this defense or openings video with Hood County Chess Club, and we were just celebrating the Budapest Gambit here in Budapest, Hungary. Follow along with me on my travels through Europe as I show you other openings. Later in the week, I'll be in Vienna, Austria, where I'll show you the Vienna opening. Until next time, this is Zac Wilson, Hood County Chess Club.